Kurt Cobain's untimely death this year had severe repercussions for dance producer Paul Dakeyne's 18 Strings project, because Paul had sampled that riff from Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana, and Cobain's estate wouldn't grant permission for the sample to be used. So Paul went back in the studio, made the whole thing sound a little bit like the Sex Pistols, but not too much like the Sex Pistols, and put the thing out as Tinman. And it's the biggest dance floor smash of the year without doubt, and here is the full story.
Everybody in the house, rock the party!
The idea for the record basically came from watching DJs such as Jeremy Healy and Kelvin Andrews, DJs who are leaders of trends at certain gigs they played quite a few years ago. They'd be in the middle of a stonking house set, the place would go wild, and then all of a sudden we would just drop Smells Like Teen Spirit Night by Nirvana. And I wanted to celebrate that fact. I wanted to celebrate that, you know, a record such as that, you know, one of the biggest rock records in the world, could be played in a house scenario. The problems I had with clearing the 4-chord riff from Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit were obviously heightened by the fact that, one, it was a very high-profile record, but across the water in LA, Nirvana's management were having a hell of a lot of problems with Kurt Cobain. He was heading down the rocky road to ruin. He was approaching a coma, and of course we all know of his sad death shortly after. So my clearance to Nirvana's management company was not a high priority situation. They basically said initially, okay, you can use it, but when Kurt's problems started, I think they thought, well, okay, we'll just move you to one side and put it on the shelf. So they said, okay, you can't do it yet. Eventually, the record, Tinman 18 Strings, became so big that we had to do something. We had to get it out. The only answer was to replay the chords again, which wasn't a major problem. It was just getting my guitarist to play the whole thing again with a slightly different chord arrangement, and therefore, in the eyes of the law, it's not the same riff. The way the Sex Pistols and actually the Monkees come into this story is because of the chord change that we did to get the track out. It automatically became another riff, and in essence, you put Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit on and then put the Sex Pistols' Stepping Stone on, and see what I mean? They're practically identical. Rhythmically, they're a little bit different, but for the chords, they're more or less identical, which brings me back to the sort of, you know, frustration of trying to express how annoyed I was with the fact that, you know, at the end of the day, it's just a guitar riff. come back with a record as innovative as 18 strings is going to be difficult. But I think what Tinman is about has longevity, you know, to expand into the world of taking the guitar on journeys which have never really been possible. Yeah, there are going to be so many Tinman copies, there are going to be so many rock, grunge, house records out there. You know, people would probably expect me to either come back with something that's a copycat record or completely different. So I'll just keep them waiting and they can find out.